I want to start by just talking a little bit about history and try to give you a sense of how it's led us to where we are today in sustainability. Years ago, some of you may know this, in the 70s and 80s, many manufacturers were trying to implement new tools, techniques to improve on throughput and cycle time. And so lean manufacturing became kind of a buzzword and a major initiative through many manufacturing companies all over the world. But it really didn't focus on variability. So sometime after that, you heard about Six Sigma. And Six Sigma not only drove process variability and improved on it, made it more sustainable, but also addressed quality concerns. So over the years, as time goes by, you're seeing a kind of a blend of both and what we call Lean Six Sigma. And it's really gone beyond manufacturing. In many ways, it's gone into segments of the service industry, support industry. It's just not typically just a manufacturing tool. What's become critical to the success of these techniques is teaming. We found that the teaming approach was best suited for defining, measuring, analyzing, then eventually coming up with improvements for complex and simple problems, and then being able to sustain them, if not continually improve them over time. So the application of a philosophy of continuous improvement followed. And then shortly, what I'm going to do is try to discuss how this teaming approach has helped us solve simple as well as very complex sustainability challenges at Gulfstream. So last year, some of you heard me talk about sustainability at Gulfstream, but on a broader scale, how it applied to the industry that we belong to, which is general aviation. So we have some aspirational goals. I shared this with some of you who were here last year to achieve a number of goals. One is become carbon neutral by 2020. Secondly, to increase fuel efficiency annually by 1.5% to 2% through 2020. And then also to reduce CO2 emissions by 50% by 2050. These are fairly aggressive goals, by the way, and I'll tell you why in a moment. And they're based on 4 pillars that you see here. One is improved technology. The other is improved infrastructure, use of alternative fuels, and then also market-based measures. So this kind of graphically shows you what our roadmap is and the significance of each one of those particular pillars. So this kind of demonstrates how and when our industry will reach these goals and where the predominant emphasis will reside. So just take technology improvements as an example, and you're going to see them primarily in airframe design, aeronautics, as well as engine research. And they'll account for about 45% of the goal that we want to reach in 2050. Infrastructure changes will be centered primarily on air traffic management and procedural modernization. For those of you who fly commercially, or even if you fly on a business jet, you'll notice sometimes when you're in the final approach to an airport, it takes a little bit longer than what you thought it would. You're either circling or you're slowing down. There's a number of the things that occur in the air traffic control management system that cause some inefficiencies. Think of what's going on while you're doing that. You're burning more fuel, and you're emitting more carbon. So what we can do in terms of the infrastructure within the air traffic control management system, and the FAA has taken on that challenge, the better off we're going to be. Those account for about 8% of the goal. Then there's alternative and preferably reusable fuels, and they'll make up about 40% of the goal. Last year when I came up here, I mentioned that at one point we took some of our airplanes and we mixed the fuel, the jet fuel, 50% jet fuel and 50% reusable energy, which was from a weed called camelina. Now, that sounds pretty easy. That's a great solution. Think of the infrastructure challenge that's going to result if we're going to use biofuels or reusable fuels like that for all of aviation. It's pretty substantial. So this is going to require a kind of a mix between a kerosene mixed fuel to one that's more biofuel generated. And then there's market-based changes, and they'll likely focus on carbon offset. And these constitute probably the smallest changes involving CO2. All right. On the ground at Gulfstream, we remain committed as I think you'll see as I go through these slides, with sustainability and making improvements in all aspects of our business. And one of the ways we do this, similar to what we did with Six Sigma or Lean Six Sigma, is to involve our employees, and that's what I'd like to talk to you about today. So we value integrity. It's one of our key values. It means doing the right thing at all times. And so we believe our employees embody that value because we empower them to act with the utmost of integrity all the time. And it's also a core of our sustainability program. So in other words, do the right thing from a sustainability standpoint means conserving our resources for the use by other generations. And so protecting our employees and our communities is very important to us, and then to continue to improve and innovate sustainability programs to ensure positive environmental impacts is very important as well. So in order to improve and innovate our sustainability programs, we look to our greatest resource, which is our employees, and we establish what we refer to as green teams. And these are all across our Gulfstream sites and our business units. And we originally charged these teams with addressing infrastructure and operational sustainability through 4 focus areas: energy, solid waste, hazardous waste, and water consumption. And then we did something just recently that we're very proud of. We created what we refer to as Green Team Bootcamp programs. And we brought green to the company by training employees throughout our network, which includes Mexicali, Mexico, Luton, England, and then all our sites here in the United States. The boot camps focus on environmental issues which affect our company. And after the boot camps, the green teams work with their colleagues and their leadership to make environmental improvements to facilities and operations. And we now have 24 of those teams, about 500 employees participating in all of those teams. We also, for the first time this year, started what we refer to as a sustainability summit. And these are cross-functional groups that collaborate with like teams at other sites. So this past summer, the green teams had an opportunity to come and meet here in Savannah, Georgia at this summit. We had representatives from all of our sites here to share their successes and exchange ideas over a two-day period. This is so critical to innovation and the sharing of innovation when you can get people who probably never even see each other through their careers, maybe have an opportunity from time to time to talk on the phone, but to be able to sit next to them, to exchange ideas and best practices, and take it from there is extremely important to us. So one of the great successes of the Sustainability Summit is that green teams are establishing best practices, which they adopt to eliminate the need for each site to do their own research that another site has already implemented. So it accelerates the process dramatically because they're not reinventing the wheel, quite frankly. We have an installation team, an interior installation team. These are the people that install all the fancy furniture in our airplanes. And they had an initiative to try to reduce the amount of compressed air that they use. And compressed air uses a lot of electricity. It's probably one of the most inefficient uses of electricity for what it generates in terms of compressed air. And they were able to find a way to decrease it substantially. Simple things like finding leaks on hoses or connectors were helpful. They could share that with some of the other sites so they could do the same thing. And that's exactly what they did. One of the other things that we've been doing is that we've looking at also the use of LED lighting. And so the installation of LED lighting has resulted in about a 40% reduction in energy usage in our Luton facility in England. So you can get a sense of what that's occurring by just making that one simple change. Also, we've seen the same effect at our Dallas site, Dallas, Texas. The new sales and design center that we have there was outfitted entirely with LED lighting. And since that time, Dallas has been working to retrofit fluorescent light fixtures with high-efficiency lamps, further reducing the energy use. If you've ever been to Baja California, in the north of Baja California, in the desert area, it gets very hot. But it's also a source of energy. And our Mexicali facility had a parking lot. You can see the graphic below. And they took that parking lot and they converted it into a solar panel garage. And so those are solar panels that you see there that help conserve energy at our facility and also allow for shade for our employees when they park in that particular parking lot. Here's another example. Our boilers at our Appleton, Wisconsin facility, it's a place that gets very cold in the wintertime. They were upgraded, resulting in an estimated annual savings of 2 million billions of BTU and 100 metric tons of CO2 annually. That's a significant reduction based on what they've done. And get this, our Long Beach facility does not provide any waste to the landfills. What it does is it takes those and does a single stream process with a particular company that we deal with. And so the waste that we used to send to landfills is now burnt for energy usage. And we're going to try to use that same technology and that same capability in some of our other sites. So these are just a few of the ongoing examples of what our green teams accomplish. And it's important to note that these teams are addressing energy, waste, and water reduction as the company grows and expands. And there's been a substantial amount of expansion, especially here in Savannah, since 2006. But since 2010, when we first established these green teams, and when our first facility master plan expansion was completed, Gulfstream's facility in Georgia have increased by over 900,000 square feet of facilities and by almost a little bit over 4,000 employees. We've added new facilities in Westfield, Massachusetts, and London, England. But even with all that expansion, the company has gone through, over the last few years, energy consumption and solid waste have decreased per person, and you can see on the graphics here. Water consumption, that's still a challenge for us. As we've expanded, quite frankly, we've not done quite as well by water consumption per employee, but we have some ideas and some things we can do to be able to improve in that area as well. So substantial improvement as we expand, and many of those buildings I'm talking about are LEED certified, which also helps us reduce our footprint, our carbon footprint, as a result of the designs that we're making in our new facilities. Now, in terms of solid and hazardous waste recycling, we've established a number of best practices. We've raised awareness. You can see on the left graphic how we've done on solid waste. We're doing much more recycling of solid waste. Then on the right side, the recycling we're doing on hazardous waste. So again, a lot of focus on the environment, a lot of focus on what we do daily and how we can improve it. So, just in conclusion, accelerating sustainability at Gulfstream, especially amid all the substantial growth we have been fortunate enough to experience, we've recognized early on in the journey that our employees are the drivers of our sustainability success. I was able to attend the Sustainability Summit, gave a little bit of a speech during that period of time and talked to a number of the employees around the country and also in Mexicali, Mexico, and got a sense of their excitement level. And the excitement level was very high. So we're going to grow this capability. We're going to use our people more and more as we challenge ourselves to even be better citizens, good citizens of the environment. So that's one of the reasons why we came to Ocean Exchange. Dane mentioned that we were one of the first sponsors here of the Ocean Exchange. We created the Navigator Award. We sponsor that yearly. This is the 4th year in a row that we've done that. We're excited about the solutions that come up. We love the award ceremony, so tomorrow night we're going to be able to provide to some lucky winner the Navigator Award, and it's because of what you do. We're basically generalists at this summit. We come here to this exchange because we're bullish on sustainability. We're not looking for one particular solution for one part of our industry. We're more interested in the general goal of sustainability across the world. So I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for your attention. I may have time for a few questions if you had so, then I'm going to introduce somebody very special to come up right after me. Thank you very much.